Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, think about this. You have a brilliant idea, right? You dive in, you're super enthusiastic.
Yeah, full of energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, well, somewhere along the line, it just sort of fizzles out. You've got that half-done project just looking at you.
Or those goals you were so excited about, now just kind of sitting there.
Totally.
Yeah.
If that sounds like something you've experienced, and let's face it, it probably has for, well, most people, then yeah, you're definitely in the right place for this deep dive.
Absolutely. We've all been there, that frustration of leaving things incomplete. So for this, we've looked at a whole bunch of different perspectives on why this happens.
Right.
Drawing from analysis of task completion, human behavior, all that stuff. And the aim isn't just to point out the problem.
No.
It's really about equipping you, the listener, with some practical, actionable strategies, ways to actually break through those roadblocks and get stuff done.
Precisely. That's our mission today, to really get under the hood of why so many of us, well, struggle to see things through. And we want to give you some clear, effective tools.
So you can hit those finish lines.
Yeah, and actually feel that satisfaction, that sense of accomplishment. If you've ever felt like your life is just like a landscape of half-finished good intentions, this one's for you.
It's incredibly common. Actually, some people even talk about it like a modern epidemic, this failure to finish.
Wow, an epidemic.
Well, think about the impact, right? That nagging frustration, maybe even a hit to your reputation if it's work stuff, and just that general feeling of things being unresolved.
Definitely. And one huge reason that keeps coming up is maybe we can call it distraction overload.
Oh, absolutely. Distractionitis, maybe.
Yeah. It's that constant stream of notifications, emails popping up, social media pulling you away.
Yeah.
All those things just completely derail you when you're trying to focus on just one thing. I mean, I know I've started something strong, looked up, and boom, an hour's gone, and I've barely made progress on what I meant to do.
You see it everywhere, like moving house.
Yeah.
Those boxes that just sit there for months.
No, don't remind me.
It's a classic example.
Oh.
And interestingly, some research we looked at, it found that for quite a few people, something like 39%, starting is the easy part.
Easier than finishing?
Yeah, much easier. Only about 19% found finishing easier. And the common things people struggle to finish, things like writing a book, finishing a degree, even big life things like getting married apparently came up in one survey.
Whoa, getting married. That's huge. That really puts it in perspective. Okay, so for everyone listening right now, maybe just pause for a second.
Good idea.
Mentally list, say, 3 things, maybe, that are still kind of hanging fire. Now, be honest. Why aren't they done? Is it like overcommitment?
Or distraction, procrastination. Maybe.
Exactly. What's the real reason?
That kind of self-check is so important. Figuring out your own personal sticking points. That's the first step. Are you someone who just can't say no, even when you're swamped?
Guilty.
Or do you tend to put things off? Or does your focus just, scatter easily? Identifying those patterns gives you real clues about what needs to change.
And it's so key to remember why we want to finish things. It's not just like ticking off a list.
No.
When you actually see something through, it builds real confidence, right? It cuts down that background stress of loose ends.
It gives you clarity, a sense of moving forward.
Exactly. So figuring out those personal roadblocks is, well, crucial if you want those benefits.
Okay, so let's dig a bit deeper now. Beyond the obvious distractions, there are often these underlying beliefs or habits that kind of sabotage us without us even realizing it.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. What sort of internal stuff are we talking about?
Oh, one big one is the fear of failure. It sounds a bit counterintuitive, maybe. Well, if you never actually finish the thing, you never have to face the possibility that it might not be good enough or that people might criticize it. It's like a weird form of self-protection.
Okay, so not finishing means you can't fail at it.
Kind of. But the irony is, by not finishing, you've guaranteed a different kind of failure, the failure to complete it at all.
Right. That makes total sense. You're so scared of a bad outcome, you avoid any outcome. So how do you tackle that fear?
One thing is to actually visualize, okay, what is the worst that could happen? And how would I handle it? Often, it's not as catastrophic as our fear makes it seem.
And maybe visualize the best outcome, too.
Absolutely. And remember, mistakes are part of the process, even for really successful people. And interestingly, sometimes it's actually a fear of success.
Fear of success. How does that work?
It can be subconscious, like worrying about higher expectations if you succeed, or maybe, outshining people. It can also lead to hitting the brakes just before the finish line. Recognizing these anxieties is really the first step.
That's fascinating, the fear of success angle. Okay, what about perfectionism? That feels like a really common one too.
Oh, definitely. Perfectionism is a classic completion killer. You get caught in this loop of endless tweaking, fiddling, refining.
Always trying to make it just a little bit better.
Exactly. And it never feels quite done. Chasing this impossible ideal.
Mm.
A much more practical mindset is aiming for good enough.
Good enough, not perfect.
Right. Remember, finishing something now doesn't mean it's locked in forever. You can usually come back and improve it later. The main thing is to get version 1 across the line.
Let go of absolute flawlessness to actually achieve something. Got it. And then the big one, procrastination. We all know that one.
Yep, the universal struggle.
Mhm.
And procrastination often isn't just laziness, It can stem from maybe some underlying resentment about the task or just uncertainty about how to even start.
Right, like you don't know the first step, so you just don't take it.
Exactly. So if you find yourself putting something off again and again, try to pinpoint why. Just naming the reason can sometimes spark ideas for solutions. And then there's the simple practical issue. We often just completely underestimate how long things will take.
Oh, tell me about it. I am constantly over-optimistic about what I can cram into a day.
It's so common. A really useful trick here is to just build in a buffer. Add, say, 25% more time to your initial estimate for any task.
25%. Okay.
Yeah, it helps create more realistic deadlines and stops you feeling like you're always behind schedule.
Okay, that add 25% rule. I'm writing that one down mentally. Okay, let's shift gears slightly to that feeling of just overwhelm. Having too much on your plate seems like a huge reason things get left half done.
You're absolutely right. That research I mentioned, over 30% of people said having too many responsibilities was the main reason they didn't finish things.
Wow, nearly a third.
Yeah. When you're juggling loads of stuff without a clear plan, it's almost guaranteed some balls will get dropped.
Yeah.
And trying to do everything at once, that just leads to paralysis. You don't even know where to start.
Yeah, you look at the massive list and just want to go back to bed.
Exactly that feeling. So the key is ruthless prioritization
Mm.
and focus. Instead of flitting between 10 things, really try to focus your energy on one task at a time,
Single tasking.
or at least minimizing the multitasking. That focused approach massively boosts your chances of actually finishing.
And this links back to that tricky skill of saying no, doesn't it? We take on too much because we want to help, or maybe we have FOMO, fear of missing out.
Absolutely. Learning to politely say no is actually a crucial skill for managing your workload and protecting your time. You have to know your limits.
It feels hard, though.
It does, but saying no to some things means you can actually say a proper yes with your full attention to the things that really matter. And we need to differentiate between being productively busy.
And just chaotic busy.
Exactly. Just being frantic doesn't mean you're being effective. A balanced workload, a sustainable pace, that's what actually helps you complete things properly.
Okay, so how do we get a grip on this overwhelm? You mentioned an exercise.
Yeah, a simple but really effective one. Just list everything that's currently on your plate. Everything.
Brain dump it all.
Yep. Then look at that list and circle maybe the top 3 tasks that are genuinely urgent. Things that need doing, like now. Then separately, circle maybe 3 things that you really want to do. Things that align with your passion or long-term goals.
Ah, so urgent and important to me.
Precisely. It just gives you a visual way to sort through the noise and focus your energy where it counts most for you.
That sounds really practical, a good way to cut through the chaos. Okay, let's talk about deadlines. They can be motivating, but also pretty stressful.
Totally. Deadlines get a bad rap sometimes, seen just as pressure points, but actually if you use them smartly, they're incredibly powerful tools for, motivation and just getting organized.
Right.
Without a deadline, tasks can just sort of drift forever. So it's about reframing them not as just constraints, but as helpful guide rails.
So what if a task doesn't have an official deadline? Like a personal project?
Make one up. Set your own deadline. Don't wait for someone else to impose it. And importantly, deadlines aren't just for the very end.
So break it down.
Exactly. Break big projects into smaller chunks and give each chunk its own mini deadline, an interim deadline. That keeps the momentum going and stops the final goal feeling quite so huge and distant.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Creating little milestones. But what about setting those deadlines? How do we make sure they're actually helpful, not harmful?
Yeah, realism is key here. Setting crazy tight deadlines might feel like you're pushing yourself.
But it just leads to stress and rushed work.
Usually, yeah. Or you miss it, feel bad, and give up. But deadlines that are too far away, that just invites procrastination. You need that sweet spot.
Challenging but doable.
Exactly. Something that keeps you focused but feels genuinely achievable.
Okay, so another exercise for our listeners, maybe.
Definitely. Think about those, say, 3 unfinished projects again. Do they have clear deadlines? If not, assign one now. Then break each one down into smaller steps, what needs to happen first, second, third, and give each of those steps its own mini deadline. The crucial thing is they should feel, achievable, not terrifying.
Right. Deadlines that motivate, not paralyze. Okay, this is all great for understanding the why, but let's get really practical now. You mentioned a framework earlier, FINISH.
Yes, the FINISH framework. It's a really neat, structured way to tackle those obstacles we've been talking about and, well, finish things. Each letter stands for a core idea.
Okay, break it down for us. F.
F is for focus. Simple but powerful. Concentrate on one task at a time. Like we said, juggling just fragments your attention and often means nothing gets fully done. Pick your priority, focus.
Okay, focus makes sense. Then I.
I is for ignore. Basically, minimize interruptions. Both the external ones, phone notifications, people dropping by, and the internal ones, the urge to just quickly check something else.
Control what you can.
Exactly. Handle interruptions quickly if you have to, then consciously bring your focus back. And be honest about those self-interruptions.
Yeah, the just checking email quickly trap. Okay, N.
N is for now, the procrastination killer. If you tend to put things off, just make yourself start right now, even if it's just for 5 minutes.
Get the ball rolling.
Precisely. Starting is often the hardest part, overcoming that initial inertia.
Okay, focus, ignore now. Then we have 2 I's.
Right. The first I is initiate and innovate. So building on now, it's about actively starting and finding ways to stay engaged. Use tools, maybe a timer like the Pomodoro technique.
Work in focus bursts.
Yeah, and this is important. Reward yourself for progress. Little rewards keep you motivated. The second I is for stay.
Stay, as in stick with it.
Exactly. Persevere. Things will get tough. You'll hit roadblocks. You'll want to quit. Sticking with it through those challenges is what gets you to the end.
Okay, focus, ignore, now initiate and innovate, stay. What's H?
H is for hail finishing. Basically, celebrate when you're done.
Oh, I like that one.
Acknowledge the accomplishment, however small it feels. Finishing is a win. Recognizing that reinforces the habit and boosts you for the next thing.
Hail finishing. Love it. Okay, so for listeners, the challenge is pick one unfinished thing and try applying FINISH to it.
Exactly. See how thinking through those steps helps you move forward. Practice it, and it can become a really solid habit.
Right. Now, building on that idea of focus and knowing what's important, goal setting and prioritization came up a lot in the sources, too, as really key drivers for actually finishing things.
Oh, absolutely essential. Especially now with so many distractions. If you don't have clear goals and a solid sense of your priorities, you just get swamped by the less important stuff.
Never get to the things that really matter.
Exactly. You make no real headway on your main objectives.
So let's quickly touch on SMART goals again, just a refresher.
Sure. SMART, specific, measurable, assignable, or achievable. Some say realistic and time-related.
Right.
So instead of just be more productive, it's finish the draft of the Q1 report by 5 p.m. Friday and email it to Jane. Much clearer.
Specific, target, deadline, action. Got it. And once we have those SMART goals, how do we best prioritize the actual tasks to reach them?
Well, there are useful tools. The time management matrix, sorting tasks by urgent and important, helps focus your immediate attention.
The Eisenhower box, yeah.
That's the one. And then there's Pareto's 80-20 principle, the idea that roughly 80% of your results often come from just 20% of your activities.
So find that crucial 20%.
Yeah, identify those high-impact tasks and really focus your energy there. It's about working smarter, not just harder.
And that was another acronym mentioned, ACCITION.
ACCITION, yeah. It stands for assess your tasks, control your environment, target your priorities, innovate your approach, organize your workflow, and take action. Now, it's another good framework to keep you focused and structured.
Okay, so fundamentally, it's all about being really deliberate about where you put your time and effort.
Exactly. Aiming that effort where it makes the biggest difference towards your actual goals, not just being busy for busy's sake.
Right. Okay, we talked about taking on too much. Let's circle back to that difficult skill. Saying no.
Ah, yes. The art of the graceful refusal. It's so important for finishing what you have started.
Because if you keep saying yes...
your plate just gets overloaded.
Yeah.
And then, like we said, things inevitably get dropped or left unfinished. Plus, stress levels go way up. Many people struggle because they want to be helpful or they worry about offending someone.
Yeah, you don't want to seem unhelpful or difficult. So how do you say no effectively, but, nicely?
Key is polite respect, but firm boundaries. Acknowledge the request first, show you've heard them.
Okay.
Then, clearly explain, maybe briefly, that your current commitments mean you can't take it on right now. You need to prioritize. Offering to perhaps help later, when things free up, can soften it.
That's a good tactic. What if you're put on the spot and you just freeze?
Totally okay to buy time.
Yeah.
Just say, let me check my current workload and I'll get back to you. Or let me think about how that fits in.
Gives you space to actually assess.
Exactly. And sometimes talking it over with someone else who knows your schedule can give you perspective and maybe the confidence to decline.
And maybe just having a couple of go-to phrases ready
Yeah.
helps.
Definitely. Practice saying things like, thanks for thinking of me, but I can't commit to that right now. Or maybe suggest someone else who could help. Or offer a smaller alternative if possible. The main thing is, saying no protects your focus for your existing priorities. It's not selfish, it's necessary.
Such a crucial point. Saying no lets you say yes properly to what's already there. Okay, final area, and this one feels a bit counterintuitive when we're talking about finishing things. Knowing when to quit.
Yeah, it might sound odd, right? But sometimes deciding consciously to stop working on something is actually the most strategic and productive move you can make.
Really? How so?
Well, if you're pouring time and energy into something that's no longer relevant, or isn't giving you the return you expected, or just doesn't align with your priorities anymore.
Then continuing is just wasting resources.
Exactly. That time and energy could be much better spent on something that does matter. It's about distinguishing between hitting a tough patch you need to push through.
And realizing the whole project just isn't right anymore.
Precisely. It's deliberate quitting based on evaluation, not just giving up because it got hard or you got bored. Ask yourself, do I really want or need to finish this? Could my effort be better used elsewhere?
Okay, and you mentioned something called the Hemingway effect earlier.
Yes. The idea attributed to Hemingway is that if you stop working on something mid-flow, like when you know exactly what the next sentence or step is,
You're more motivated to come back to it.
that's the theory. It leaves this little mental itch, this tension that pulls you back to finish it. Some studies even suggest people interrupted just before finishing a task feel a stronger urge to complete it later.
That's really interesting. So getting something almost done can actually be a good strategy.
It can be, yeah. Which also suggests maybe tackling those nearly finished tasks first can give you quick wins and build momentum.
Get them off the list.
Exactly. And it underlines the need to regularly review your to-do list and consciously decide what maybe shouldn't be finished. It's not about finishing everything. It's about finishing what truly matters.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, the big takeaway seems to be that finishing isn't just about gritting your teeth and forcing it.
Not at all.
It's much more about understanding the roadblocks, the external distractions, yes, but also our internal stuff like fear or perfectionism, and then using practical strategies.
Exactly. Managing time, managing energy, setting clear goals, using deadlines wisely, learning to say no.
And even knowing when quitting is the smart move.
Right. It's a whole toolkit.
So for everyone listening, maybe the final thought is this. Think about just one area in your life, work, personal projects, whatever. Where could applying even one of these ideas make the biggest difference to your completion rate?
And to that feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah. Because finishing isn't just about checking off boxes, is it? It's about bringing things to a proper conclusion.
Making space for what's next.
Exactly. Creating that space for new beginnings by actually finishing what you started.